So learn to use absence and make them demand your return. In this way, you increase the value of your presence. Presence, if it is too much, it makes your value degrade. That's why to create attraction, you must learn to withdraw at the right moment and starve them of your presence. You know, we all have had some sort of romantic interest in someone at some point of our lives. For most men, a lot of this interest didn't necessarily materialize because men have to be the pursuer of women, whereas women are more like the selectors of men. Now, I am not saying that women don't struggle when it comes to getting men. I'm just saying that men struggle way more than the world tries to portray, right? Now, that's all besides the point I'm trying to make, which is about the dance we as people have to make when it comes to courtship. Half the time, you find out that you want to speak to the other person all the time when you're in love in the beginning of your relationship, but you don't want to be needy. You don't want to be seen as desperate. You want to have the right amount of attention that indicates that you're interested, but also not desperate, not needy, not overbearing. Basically, you're trying to find the right balance. And this is a very crucial skill that should be learned early on in life so that you're not taken for granted by your lovers, by friends, by families, your love interest, or whatever. And this is where the power of absence comes into play. You know, we've often heard these words, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's true. These words ring true for romance, but they also ring true for real life situation. And this is what I want to speak about today. Now, have you ever wondered why the chemistry between two lovers who are in a long distance relationship is so strong and steamy hot? I'll tell you why. It's the absence of presence, the longing to be in the same spot on real time, which seems impossible at that time because of distance and whatnot. It will interest you to know that, a new study have shown or suggested that individuals in long distance relationships experience more intimacy with their significant others than those who are always together on a daily basis. And that's because of the absence factor. One of the ways that you could spark the fire up in your relationship again after a while of being in each other's space is by creating absence. Because as you know, too much circulation makes the price of any valuable commodity to go down. The more you're seen, the more you're heard, the more common you become, the more common you appear. And that's when familiarity starts to breed contempt. The things that used to intrigue or fascinate your man is what now irritates him, just cause you're in his space too much or you're being too clingy. Now, if you've established your relationship to a certain point, it's very advisable for you to temporarily withdraw from it, especially when you get the feel that the energy is changing or the energy is not matching up. So in a case that you've been the one calling or you're the one chatting up a storm and he's reducing his communication, you're the one initiating all of the calls, you just need to withdraw for some days. He will notice because you've broken a pattern that he's used to, that he even probably was irritated by. Now, in that moment of reality, he will probably enjoy the space that you've given to him because it's new, it's fresh, it's like a breath of fresh air. He may not check in for some days or weeks depending on the type of relationship that you guys have built. But trust me, when he sees that it's taking forever and you haven't even as much as checked in and he doesn't even know what you're on about because you aren't even posting your activities on social media where he can attest or at least stalk you or attest to the fact that you're okay, he will start to get the feeling of something is wrong. Or he will start to feel like he's losing his grip on you, he's losing his power on you. Now, when that happens, that's when he will start to have that feeling of missing you and he will start to yearn for you. So in that space of time that you've created absence, right? In that space of absence, what you're doing is that you've created a void that he now tries to fill with his mind's eyes of what it was when you both fell in love and what it is that captivated his attention in you. In this phase, his desire for you increases, and even more so, you get more admired by him. So ladies, you must learn to know when to leave the room, because this is the only way that you create value for yourself in a relationship that's stagnated or that's stagnant or not heading in the right direction. You flip the script by creating value through scarcity. But first, understand that the concept of scarcity or absence works to a certain degree in different kinds of relationships, and it's dependent on the intensity of connection that you both have created before now. Of course, at the start of an affair, you need to heighten your presence in the eyes of, your partner, your man, or whosoever. Because if you absent yourself too early, you may be forgotten because no deep or real connection was made. But once your lover's emotions are engaged and that feeling of love has crystallized, right? You will notice that absence just inflames and excites that relationship. And even if there is no reason for your absence, it still has the potency of exciting and inflaming more passion, where the other person starts to assume that he or she is at fault and is now wondering what must have happened for you to go cold or quiet. So in that space, like I said earlier, while you are away, your lover's imagination will take flight, and this will stimulate imagination, which he or she cannot help but make the love that they feel grow even stronger than before, because your absence has made them have a rethink of who you really are, of what made them love you in the first place. That's why space is really important in your relationship. Absence is really important. It plays a vital role. But when you become too present, too accessible, leaving no room for imagination, you will notice that the more you pursue, the less they love you. You might think, oh, it's all game, and whatnot. But it's fact. Not just for love relationship, even for family and friends. I can attest to this because my mom would always call me almost every day, and I would dread her call because it was becoming overwhelming and overbearing. I needed space. I needed time to miss her. Then the moment she gives me space and I don't hear from her in, let's say, for a week or two, I start to worry if she's okay and all of that stuff. So it's not just for love relationship, it also is for family, friends. Because the truth is that what withdraws, what becomes scarce, suddenly seem to deserve our respect and honor. It's a proven fact. But what stays too long, inundating us with its presence, suffocating us with its presence, makes us disdain it. Truly, distance and absence makes the heart grow fonder. The law of presence and absence works the same way as the law of supply and demand. When something is in supply, you do not see the value. You do not see the value because it's there, it's surplus, it's everywhere, it's in circulation, people can have access to it. What makes diamond diamond? What makes diamond really valuable and its price really high, and it's also gotten by selected few, is because it is not easily accessible. But the moment diamond becomes accessible, everyone has it, the value drops. Same thing with gold. Same thing with precious stones. It drops. And that's the same thing that applies in relationships or marriages. So presence, if it is too much, it makes your value degrade. That's why to create attraction, you must learn to withdraw at the right moment and starve them of your presence. And this is one way men fall in love too, because you're giving them time to process your feelings for you in your absence. But when you are all up in his business, in his face, in his DM, in his WhatsApp messages, oh my God, it can be suffocating. So always remember this, that what becomes scarce gains respect, and what stays too long makes us disdain it, makes us disrespect it. So learn to use absence and make them demand your return. In this way, you increase the value of your presence. You increase your respect. You increase the love, especially in a relationship that you seem to have been taken for granted. Cut off. Just go, no contact. Just go, have fun. Do your own thing. Take them out of the picture. Be out of social media. Be out. Let nobody hear from you. Sometimes don't even pick up calls. Then when the time is right, boom, you hit them with something really good. Maybe on social media or something like that. You look your best and hit them really good. When they see you, they would want to be with you. They would want to... You know how it feels like. It's the same thing. Haven't you observed that the people that you don't give attention to, the moment you give them attention, they are all excited. They're all excited and all up in your space like something really good has happened. But the people that you give too much attention to, they don't really care if you came the next day, with something spectacular, or maybe, because they've seen you too much. See finish has happened. That's something that you don't want to have in your relationship. And this is one way to make it not happen, which is, reducing your footstep. Even the Bible says that you should reduce your footsteps in the house of your neighbor. I don't know how, but it's in that line. So learn to use absence to create or to increase attraction in your relationship. In that way, you increase the value of your presence. Always keep in mind the effect of the law of scarcity. The more scarce you are, the more valuable you are. Now, I need you to know that all relationship requires a kind of distance between people, but it is not just your presence that contributes to enriching your relationship. It is your absence that does the work for you, especially if he isn't trying to commit and you know that he likes you a lot, yet he's pretty much indecisive. This can either change the game or break it. Because on the flip side of things, if the man isn't that into you, your absence can be a welcome development, because he won't be needing to help you find closure. Like, he wouldn't be explaining himself. He wouldn't be finding ways to explain why he's not speaking with you. You're the one who is doing the work. You're the one cutting communication. As a matter of fact, he's going to use that as an excuse and tell you, oh, you're the one who stopped talking with me. You're the one who stopped communicating with me. You're the one who ghosted me and all of that stuff. So if the connection is not deep, has not been formed, this will not work. So absence actually works to increase the attraction in your relationship when there is a crystallization of emotion. Listen to me, your presence makes your loved one feel secured, but too much of it, you become common. Okay, that's something you should take home if there is nothing else for you to take home today from this topic. The more you are seen, the more excitement fades. So withdrawing for a while makes your loved one feel pretty much uncomfortable. But the fact still remains that even lovers need to feel uncomfortable sometimes in order to grow in that relationship with you. So if you never want to allow yourself to be treated like anyone else, if you must remain special, if you must maintain that excitement in your relationship, if you must retain that attraction in your relationship, then it's imperative that you must learn to create a pattern of absence and presence. That's the key to keeping the attraction fresh all the time. Now, I'm sure the married ones would tell me, oh, so how are we supposed to create absence with our husbands or with our wives? Travel for a week, go on vacation all by yourself, and then come back and see the difference in, the love making afterwards. So it's very important for you to have a getaway. Create that space from each other so that they get the chance to also embrace their own individualistic self and endeavors to a point that they've gotten enough of being alone and they want to spend enough time with you. That's the only way that you can create fire or some level of newness, some sense of fresh breath in your relationship. I would advise, even if you're married, you have kids, sometimes you could call your mother to come over to the house while you're away to take care of your kids, and then you just travel out. Spend 2 weeks out there having fun, real fun. So much so that your husband will be there waiting and missing you. It works. It works. Periodically, you should take out time, travel, even if it's not traveling overseas, maybe travel to other states or just go have fun. So, and that will create some rejuvenating time for you. You'll be refreshed. When you come back, you would feel like wanting to chew your husband because you've not seen him for quite some time. Okay? So I think it's really imperative that couples should take out time, go to different countries, explore different countries together, or different, or maybe individually. Just go different ways and come back, converge. You have so many things to talk about, so many experiences that you've had all by yourself. When you come back, it will feel afresh. The attraction will be a lot deeper. You will have more meaning to your relationship or to your marriage because, one, you're exploring. It is not suffocating you. You're embracing your individuality, and you're allowing your partner to also embrace his or her individuality. I don't believe that when you're in a relationship, you have to suffocate each other by being in your space. I understand that sometimes love can really shock you, like it can really turn your head, and you feel like being away from this person will get you really depressed and all of that. No, let me tell you something. The most happiest relationships are the ones where people are allowed, the two individuals are allowed to have their individual fun outside of themselves. All right? With trust and understanding that they cannot do anything to jeopardize your relationship, even in their absence. All right? They have the integrity to uphold their loyalty to these people. So if you have that relationship where you trust your partner that, oh, he's traveling or she's traveling, but I know that he will never do anything to jeopardize my relationship because he loves me that deep. He would withstand any temptation wherever. You have that trust. When you have that trust, then you allow them fly like a bird. And when you fly as well, you're not waiting for them to fly and you're not flying. You're also flying too. All right? And then when you guys converge, it is explosive. That makes a lot of sense. The relationship lasts longer. It doesn't feel suffocating. One of the reasons why relationship feels suffocating is because you're not giving space. Learn to inculcate space, absence in your relationship. Okay? It is good. It is good. Okay then, let's leave it here until I come your way. Same time tomorrow. Don't forget that I love you. Mwah.